So I'm looking at this video, right? And the title is I'm sure you can see it. PP loan fraud. Fed release all names and businesses to public. I mean, but the thing what this dude has to say, just listen to it right quick. This is real interesting, and the reason being because if you notice, they just picked Dirk up, right? They picked up Lil Durk from OTF, murder for hire out of Florida. So they want him in Cali. U.S. Marshal hold no bond. That's not saying he won't get a bond, but as of right now, he don't have a bond until they take him out there to Cali and he's arraigned and things like that. And then I'm sure they'll either give him a bond or they won't. If you notice, they just got Diddy. And then, they're doing a whole lot of sweeps. And if you notice, like Cat Williams, he was saying that, like he was saying it, and a few other people were saying it. I was saying it. Like if you notice, as of lately, and there's been a few people out there. There's a few videos out there. There's this woman. Her name is Kabaza or something like that, and she's always like up ahead on game and stuff like that. I believe she says she's of Israel. And the point I'm trying to make is, man, they're doing sweeps and they're not playing, and that means if they're doing all this, they're doing it for a reason. And, it kind of ties back to them Homeland Security videos where people are like, well, why do you have these places manned with no prisoners in them? And then why did you have all these caskets, these black plastic caskets that were in Georgia? And then the UN train with all them UN tanks and stuff like that if you weren't planning something. And then there was even a whistleblower out there that was saying America has something coming to it. And you had a whole bunch of people leaving and denouncing citizenship. If you notice, during the COVID-19, there was a whole string of people that were leaving the country and renouncing their U.S. citizenship. And then if you notice, you got the inflow of immigrants. And I'm not saying everybody who comes through that is of immigrant and immigration status is a bad person. But then you have a slew of people out there, like in Chicago. Once again, Chicago. All this craziness keep going on up there. If you notice, they have Venezuelan gangs, they say, according to the media, taking over. They had took over one building, and I'm like, well, how does this go on with nobody doing anything about it? Like, what the hell? Like, how does that even happen? How do you have people come in from another country and literally take over buildings? So what is that all about? But the thing is, all these sweeps have been coming lately on a lot of people in the year 2024. This has been like a cleanup year. And so, it's like the Hunger Games. You get warned about these sweeps prior to them even happening. In that movie Hunger Games, there was like levels and people kept getting swept and knocked off. Basically, there were levels where people were not surviving each level, and that's kind of like with this PP loan fraud. That's why I never went and got it. And I feel people like, oh man, go ahead and get it. You had your own business, man, and you can do it. You decided a year ago, and go ahead and do that, man. I'm like, no, bro. There's a strings attached to it, and I knew it was gonna come down. So listen to a little bit what this man is saying. This is a short video today, guys and women, well, ladies and gentlemen.
Healthcare, rent, refinancing of the EIDL loan, and debt interest. How much was going towards that? So they had that breakdown on there, and I believe, I'm not sure, but they might have had that on the applications. Now, here's where it gets very interesting. Is what they're starting to do is they're starting to go one by one, looking at state records and trying to figure out if these individuals who got these loans were legitimate business owners. So as I was combing through, so they have a section with all sole proprietors.
Look at all the names, man.
And then they had a section.
They don't got the names, but they said they have the names of the businesses and stuff like that and where they're located at. So you could pretty much figure out who these people are.
Corporations. See if I can get back to it. So they had the loans by the numbers, which was over $793 billion, 968,525 companies, 11.5 million approved. And the reason why on that is some people got first, second, and third round funding. Another thing that I saw here is that they were going state by state, showing how much how much money people got, and there were some or companies, some companies got. There were some companies that got millions of dollars. Some of these were probably the airlines, but we're talking about millions upon millions of dollars. And so looking back on here, they had this tracking section where they were tracking the number of loans, and they were saying that federal government is going to start. Well, they already started, but what they're going to start doing, or what they're going to continue doing, is that they're going business by business to see if people really had a business. Like, did they really have a business, or did they just forge all of the documents? They're looking at addresses, they're looking at state records, they're looking at taxes that were filed, they're looking at banks. And the thing about it is that they have all of the information to trace. They have the company that made the loan, the bank that made the loan. They had the documents that were forwarded to them to get the loan, to justify the loan, and then they have the account that the loan proceeds were forwarded to. And then here's the thing that's really getting some people trapped, is that, well, first, if you get a loan under false pretenses, you're already in trouble. If you do fake documents, or you forge documents, you're already in trouble. But third, if you use fake documents to get the loan forgiven, because from my clients, from what I've seen, is that the ones that got forgiven, they had to print out their payroll sheets from their payroll service or whoever did their payroll stuff, and they had to give those documents for supporting documents. And so it looks like the first group that they're going after are sole proprietors. They want these sole proprietors to, they're going I don't know, bank by bank or lender by lender, looking at these documents. And what they have shown is that people are getting knocks on their door. They thought that this was, years gone. No one's doing anything about it. It's all done and over with. They didn't have a real business, and all of a sudden they get a knock on their door, and they're like asking their name and saying that you are under arrest for committing fraud.
So right there, that just go to tell you and show you what you seen, what that the guy had. You know what I'm saying? In the video, that jank was crazy. Like, I looked at that and I said, I don't know why it's been on my mind lately, because I'm like, I know a lot of people out here in out here in Macon and Warner Robins, and everybody was just party hardy. I mean, you got people turning up, cats buying Hellcats and Scat Packs and this, that, and the third, right? SRTs, anything. You don't care if it was a Challenger or not. Getting all these fake businesses. And so I'm like, well, it'd be one thing, like, if you did, let's say you did do it under false pretenses and you started making money, and then you went back, you doubled back and you paid your taxes. And then, like Willie D Live, he was saying, like, at least they put some money away for a rainy day for a lawyer. That way you can get off on some kind of probation. And you're like, yes, I did it under false pretenses because I really wanted to start this business, and I wouldn't get approved by any bank or anybody. So if you took the money and you did right by it, and then you actually was legit, I'm not a judge or anything, and I'm not a legal counsel, so don't take this as like 100% fact, but you're pretty much straight. But those of you out there who got them loans and then you didn't do nothing with the money, and then you splurged on it and you bought this and you bought that, like a lot of the people that got knocked off, you know what I'm saying, were desperate and thirsty and greedy for money. And when I seen that everybody was getting them loans, everybody like, man, go ahead, get you, man. You can get about 20 G's. I'm like, bro, I know what I would do with that 20 G's, but I don't trust that. I'm not going to get caught up in no sweep. And I feel like they separating the weak from the strong. Because if you were weak enough to take that bait that time, well, what's the next set of bait they going to put out there? And they got you and got people out there when you were destitute. oh man, why they got set up like that? They knew people was gonna do this. They knew people was gonna get the fraudulent loans, and I knew it was coming. It ain't no secret about it. And I already said something about this, I think 2 years ago, about them gonna do a sweep eventually. And look, and lo and behold, you know what I'm saying? I be on point about a lot of things. It's just people try to play me off from crazy for my criminal record, and then things that people push the narrative about me that wasn't true, and people believed it. And so a lot of people that looked at us crazy, quote unquote, now it look like we all telling the truth. You know, Kanye West said it best. You know, you would be considered crazy in a world full of lies, you know? And that's why I was like, you know, so if you did right by that money, you started a legit business and you've been flourishing, you've been paying your taxes, you'd probably be a slap on the wrist, some kind of little probation, you pay some money back. But if you were smart, you already been put money away. But those of you out there who went and bought Rolexes and gold chains and cars and flexing like you just really all like that, and you just really in the streets like that, or you just got it like that and you getting your money like that, you know what I'm saying? You took that bait, man. You should have known that was bait. They got you when you were destitute. And, you know, I feel for you out there, for those of you out there who, you know, might encounter this video and you be like, damn, he was right. Because I'm for real, they got you when you was destitute. And that's when the enemy gets you. They always get you when you're destitute. That's one of the laws of power, I'm sure. And if you go to Art of War, you get somebody when they're destitute, you pretty much could walk them into anything that you want them to do. And so that's what they did. They played on a lot of y'all. They knew y'all were going to take the bait. They knew you were going to do it. But, you know, if it's that easy and people are getting approved, and people was getting approved, they were pushing their paperwork through. It was just if you were bold enough to do it. You had people getting 60,000, 100,000, 200,000, and didn't know how good it was. Same thing with people doing the taxes, you know what I'm saying? You can't file tax year after year. You get about 5,000, 6,000, 7,000, and then next year you get $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 out of nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And then you ain't got no like bank records to really prove how you was making your money to get all of that back. That means you were getting taxed at a higher rate and you had to pay for material and you took losses and this, that, and the third. Yes, all good if you got somebody to know how to do that, right? On a menial level. And I'm not saying go out there and commit crime. That's not what I'm saying, nor am I advocating that. What I am saying though is, if you're gonna do something out there, like my mom said, like she was like, well, if I was ever do something, I'm gonna do it big. I'm not gonna rob a store. I'm gonna rob a bank. You know, and she was just saying that. She ain't really going out there and do that. My mom did 30 years in the military. So point being is, if you're going to do anything, go big with it then. And you have a rude awakening for a lot of people this year. And them federal penitentiaries seem like they about to be filled up. You know what I'm saying? That would have seemed like. And I think they're going to start pouring over into them Homeland Security, what I was talking about earlier. Like, that's what it seemed like they're going to do. You know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of people are going to be disappearing off these streets. And then there's going to be another sweep. Don't take the bait. Love y'all. Shalom.